was at Newington, we used to go away or take the boys away who were in year 9 and 10, so 14, 15, 16-year-olds on cadet camp. And they had sort of senior year 11 and 12 leaders with them. And on one particular cadet camp about 3 years ago, I was in charge of the Wombat hole. The Wombat hole. Now what the Wombat hole is it's a giant underground maze which you have to crawl on your tummy through a series of tunnels. At the bottom of the tunnel is a whole lot of mud, and at the top of the tunnel is a sprinkler system so you can spray the boys as you go through. That's Peter when he was about age 7 or 8, entering into the Wombat hole, getting ready to go in. You generally get your oldest and you get your dirtiest gear. And so the boys come along, and they're all about 16 years of age, and being the resident teacher in charge, I basically instruct them to go into the maze and to work their way through and to get out. Hands up if you're a little bit either claustrophobic or scared of the dark. At times, not at all times. All right. So here I was encouraging some of the boys, and some of these 16-year-old boys, they are taller than me and they are stronger than me. Yet when you said, right, just stick your head in the tunnel and start crawling through, they're going, oh no sir, I'm not doing that sir, no sir. But as the teacher in charge and the residential expert on the Wombat hole, I said, no, don't worry, there's nothing to be afraid of. In you go, have a go, you know, face your fears. And sure enough, most of them did it. And what the boys would do is they'd go in and I'd turn the sprinkler system on and they'd be going, oh, what's that? Turn the water off, turn the water off. And then after they'd gone through once or twice, they'd started to race through and see who could be the quickest. On one particular day, one of the boys said to me, sir, you know, have you ever done the Wombat hole since you know so much about it? I said, no, I actually haven't done the Wombat hole myself. So, of course, my peer group at the time was 16-year-old boys, and so they encouraged me to have a go. So I bent down like Peter did and stuck my head into the Wombat hole. I don't know if you've ever sort of come from bright sunlight and walked into a dark room and everything just goes pitch black and you can't see anything at all. And as soon as I stuck my head in the hole, I was absolutely scared stiff. But I had 21 boys around me going, go sir, go into the Wombat hole. So I turned to one of them, the first boy I saw, Liam O'Connor, and I said, Liam, listen, I don't want to get stuck in this underground dark maze at a dead end and have to crawl backwards, you know. Will you guide me through? He said, yeah, no problem, sir, no problem. What I didn't realise at the time is Liam had been a bit of a naughty boy in years 8 and 9 and got into a fair bit of trouble with teachers, and he probably wasn't the best choice as a person to guide me through the Wombat hole. Now, as you can see Peter there, it's a bit of a slippery slope. So I stuck my head in and went down the slope. And the first thing that happened was a whole pile of mud just hit my face. My hand slid from underneath me. It was disgusting. The thing about this Wombat hole is mud just gets absolutely everywhere all over you. And you know, it gets under your arms and you're trying to squeeze through this rotten tunnel. And within 10 seconds I knew I'd done completely the wrong thing. Mud was all over me. And I hadn't actually brought along my best clothes, or my worst clothes. I brought along my nice uniform, and I was filthy. So I came up to my first choice in the maze. I said, Liam, do I go left or do I go right? You remember, I don't want to get stuck in this maze. He goes, sir, you go left, you go left. And then 20 other voices in the platoon says, you go right, you go right. I had that point in my life, I had to make a decision. I couldn't just sit on the fence in the middle of this mud. The boys are just turning the sprinkler system on full blast and leaving it on. So I got water coming everywhere, mud everywhere, and they're all laughing. This is hilarious, you know. So, you know, he's going to get stuck. And I was thinking the same thing at the time. I decided to trust Liam. Was he trustworthy or not? I don't know. I went left. I crawled a bit more through the tunnel. A bit further in, and there was another option. Liam, I'm at the second intersection. Do I go right or do I go left? He goes, you go right, sir, you go right. And 20 other voices said, you go left, you're heading in the wrong direction. So I take Liam's advice and I go right. Anyway, the tunnel, which I didn't realise, being the resident expert, gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Now, I have to admit, you probably haven't noticed, but I have let myself go a little bit since I was 16 years of age. And I came to this point, and I couldn't get my shoulders through the Wombat hole. It's dark, it's muddy, it's wet. I don't know in your life if there have been times where you've gone, yeah, you know, I'll be part of something, and then you're in the midst of it, and you really, really regret it. And you know, as a teacher, you wanted to keep your voice calm, but I'm starting to panic a little bit, and I'm stuck. I say, Liam, look, I'm really stuck, I can't get through. I'm stuck. He said, sir, look, don't go through with both shoulders. He said, stick one arm through and keep the other by your side. He said, now, wiggle like a fish out of water. So I'm wiggling like a fish out of water. And it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And I'm starting to get a little bit, I felt claustrophobic. I never thought I'd get claustrophobic at all, but I'm getting claustrophobic. I'm starting to panic. And I'm wiggling like a fish out of water and nothing's happening. All the boys are laughing, I'm turning more water on, and the mud's doing nothing for me, and it's crazy up against me. And Liam had noticed that I was getting a little bit panicky. And then I said, Liam, look, I'm really stuck. I'm stuck in the tunnel, I can't get out. And the next I heard was this voice behind me. It was Liam. Liam had got washed after the Wombat tunnel, but he got himself back into the mud and mire of my situation. He tapped me on the feet. I couldn't see him. I said, Liam, look, I'm really stuck. I thought I'd try and crack a bit of a joke. I said, Liam, you've got to pray for me. He said, all right, sir, I'm not that religious, but I'll give it a go. He said, dear God, help Mr. Bennett lose some weight. Amen. I burst out laughing. I couldn't run to detention at that point in time alone. He's laughing, the boys outside are laughing, and my body relaxed, the tension went. And I was able to get through the tight spot. Liam, again, I couldn't see him for the entire tunnel, guided me out of the Wombat hole. I took little Pete 90 seconds to get through the Wombat hole. It took the Tongan boys, who were quite big, 4 minutes to get through the Wombat hole. It took me 16 and a half minutes to get through the Wombat hole. Liam's a little bit like Jesus and the Christmas story. You probably all know where I'm going. Firstly, Jesus isn't that religious either. The people who get the hardest time are actually the religious people. The second thing is God himself. If you remember, it said Emmanuel, God with us. God is with us in the muck and the mire of life. But if we stop our story just at Christmas, it doesn't make sense. If I asked you, could you give me a lift home tonight? I reckon most of you with a good Christian heart would go, yeah, all right, bite your teeth and go, yeah, you know, and then have to clean the car afterwards. But if I every day this year looked like this with mud all over me and said, can I have a lift home again tonight? You'd probably say, look, can you give yourself a clean and maybe have a shower and put new clothes on? You know, the gospel story is God getting into the muck and mire of our lives, of guiding us through, of giving us a way out. But then it's also about God giving us a whole lot of new set of clothes and giving us somewhere else to live. Faith is about putting those clothes on. Easter is about the new clothes and getting out of the Wombat hole. So as the service finishes, I'm going to get ready for Easter. I'm going to grab hold of my faith and actually clean myself up from